The fluorescent lights in the convenience store buzzed faintly overhead, casting a sterile glow over the shelves lined with things no one ever really needed until they suddenly did. Shayla stood frozen in the aisle. Pregnancy tests. So many of them. Different brands. Different promises. Different levels of accuracy, as if accuracy itself could be graded when it came to something that could flip an entire life upside down. Behind her, Cole shifted impatiently, running a hand through his hair, his usual confidence replaced by something far more restless. "Baby," he said, voice tight but trying to sound calm. "Just grab a few. We don't need to analyze the entire shelf." She didn't move. Her fingers hovered over one box, then another. "What if one says yes and the other says no?" she whispered. "What if we don't know what to believe?" Cole stepped closer, his presence grounding, warm. "Then we take 10, he said. "We take the whole damn shelf if we have to." That made her huff out a weak laugh. He was serious. Of course he was. Cole Holt didn't do anything halfway, especially not when it came to her. Shayla finally grabbed one box. Then another. Then 3 more. Cole added 2 extra for good measure, tossing them into the basket like they were lifelines instead of pieces of plastic that could define their future. At the register, neither of them spoke. The cashier didn't look up. But Shayla felt like the whole world knew. Like there was a spotlight on her, exposing the possibility growing quietly, invisibly inside her. The ride back to their hotel was silent. Not uncomfortable, not distant, just heavy. Cole's hand found hers halfway through the drive, fingers lacing tightly, like he was afraid she might slip away if he didn't hold on. She squeezed back. Harder. The bathroom door clicked shut behind her. Shayla stared at her reflection. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes wide. A mix of fear and something else, something she didn't dare name yet. Hope. "No," she muttered to herself. "Don't get ahead of yourself." She set the tests on the counter. 5 of them. 5 chances for her world to tilt. Her hands trembled as she opened the first box. Then the second. Then all of them. Cole knocked softly on the door. "Shay." "I'm okay," she called back quickly. Too quickly. A pause. Then softer. "I'm right here." Of course he was. He always was. That thought steadied her more than anything else. She inhaled deeply, exhaled, and began. Time stretched. Minutes felt like hours. Each test lay lined up on the counter, like silent judges. Shayla sat on the edge of the bathtub, hands clasped so tightly her knuckles had gone white. Her mind spiraled. Vegas. The wedding. The chaos before it. The way they had nearly lost each other so many times she'd stopped counting. And now this. A baby? Her heart thudded painfully in her chest. "I'm not ready," she whispered. But even as the words left her lips, something inside her challenged them. Was she ever going to be ready? Life hadn't exactly waited for her to be ready before. Love hadn't. Cole hadn't. And yet here she was. Happy. Terrified. Alive in a way she had never been before him. A soft knock again. "Shay, time's up, isn't it?" Her throat tightened. "Yeah. Can I come in?" She hesitated, then nodded, even though he couldn't see her. "Yeah, okay." The door opened slowly. Cole stepped in like he was entering sacred ground. His eyes immediately found hers, then flicked to the counter, then back to her. Neither of them moved. "Do you want me to look?" he asked gently. She shook her head. "No, I think we should do it together." He nodded. Slowly, he crossed the room. Every step felt louder than it should. He stopped beside her, close enough that their shoulders brushed. "Ready?" he asked. "No," she admitted. A small, shaky smile tugged at his lips. "Yet me neither." They turned. 5 tests. 5 answers. Or maybe just one. Shayla reached out first. Her hand hovered. Then she picked one up. 2 lines. Her breath caught. "No," she whispered. Cole grabbed another. 2 lines. Another. 2 lines. Another. 2 lines. By the time they reached the last one, neither of them was breathing properly. Cole picked it up, stared, then let out a soft, disbelieving laugh. 5 for 5, he said quietly. Shayla's vision blurred. Tears. She hadn't even realized they'd started falling. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. It sounded unreal, like saying it might somehow make it untrue. Or too true. Cole turned to her, really looked at her, and then something shifted in his expression. Not fear, not doubt. Something brighter, something fierce. "You're pregnant," he repeated. And then he laughed again, this time louder, fuller. Oh my God, he breathed, running a hand through his hair. I'm going to be a dad. Shayla let out a strangled sound somewhere between a laugh and a sob. Cole. But she didn't get to finish, because suddenly he was in front of her, hands framing her face, eyes shining. This is insane, he said. This is completely insane. I know, she said weakly. We just got married. I know. We're on our honeymoon. I know. And now, he let out a breath, almost like he couldn't contain it. Now we're having a baby. Her stomach flipped. The reality hit harder this time. Not just words. Not just lines on a stick. A baby. A tiny, living, breathing piece of them. I don't know if I can do this, she admitted, voice cracking. That stopped him. Immediately, the excitement softened, replaced with something gentler. He cupped her cheek, thumb brushing away her tears. Hey, he said softly. Look at me.
She did.
I'm scared, she confessed. I know. I had plans, Cole. I wanted to finish my degree. I wanted us to have time, just us. We still will, he said firmly. What if I'm not a good mom? She whispered. That hit him. She saw it in the way his expression tightened, in the way he leaned his forehead against hers. You're going to be an incredible mom, he said. You don't know that. I do.
How?
Because you love like it's the only thing that matters, he said. Because you fight for the people you care about. Because you've already survived more than most people ever have. Her breath hitched. And because, he added softly, you're you. Silence settled between them. But it wasn't heavy anymore. Not like before. This time, it felt grounding. What about you? She asked quietly. Aren't you scared? He let out a small laugh. Terrified. She blinked at him. You are? Of course I am, he said. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm probably going to mess things up 100 times. That made her smile, just a little. But, he continued, his voice steadying, I know one thing. What? I want this. Her heart stuttered. I want you, he said. I want our life. And yeah, I want this baby. The words settled deep inside her.
Warm.
Steady.
Real.
And you won't be doing this alone, he added. Not for a second. A tear slipped down her cheek. You promise? She asked. Always. She studied him. This man who had chased her across cities. Who had fought for her when everything seemed lost. Who had chosen her again and again. And now was choosing this. Choosing them. Okay, she whispered. His brows furrowed slightly. Okay. She nodded. Okay. Something in his face broke open then. Relief.
Joy.
Love so intense it almost felt too big for the room. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. We're having a baby, he murmured into her hair. She let herself sink into him. Into the warmth. Into the certainty. We're having a baby, she echoed. And for the first time since seeing those two lines, she smiled without fear. Outside, the world carried on as usual. Cars moved.
People laughed.
Vegas buzzed with life and chaos and endless noise. But inside that small hotel room, everything had changed. And neither of them would ever be the same again. The world didn't stop. That was the strange part. Shayla had expected something, anything, to feel different outside that hotel room. A shift in the air. A pause in time. Some kind of sign that everything had just changed. But Vegas was still Vegas.
Loud. Chaotic. Alive.
And completely indifferent to the fact that her entire life had just taken a sharp, irreversible turn. She stood by the window, arms wrapped around herself, watching the city pulse below. Hey. Cole's voice came from behind her, softer now, careful, like he was approaching something fragile. She turned slightly. He was leaning against the doorframe, freshly showered, hair still damp, a towel slung over his shoulder. Normally, the sight of him like that would have made her smirk, maybe tease him. But now, everything felt layered. Deeper. Scarier. Hey, she replied quietly. He studied her for a moment, then walked over, slipping his arms around her waist from behind, pulling her gently against him. You disappeared on me, he murmured. I didn't go far. Still counts. She leaned back into him, letting his warmth steady her again. Below them, a couple laughed loudly, stumbling down the street. A car horn blared. Music thumped faintly from somewhere in the distance. Life going on. Unaffected. You ever notice, Shayla said slowly, how the world doesn't care when your life changes? Cole rested his chin lightly on her shoulder. Yeah, he said. It's kind of rude. She let out a soft breath that almost became a laugh. I thought it would feel bigger, she admitted. Like everything would stop for a second. It did, he said. She frowned slightly.
What?
For me, he clarified. In there, when we saw those tests, everything just, he snapped his fingers softly. Stopped. Her chest tightened. Same, she whispered. Silence settled between them again. But this time, it wasn't uncertain. It was thoughtful. What do we do now? She asked. Cole didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned her gently, so she was facing him, his hands still resting at her waist. We breathe, he said. She raised an eyebrow slightly. That's your big plan? Step 1, he corrected. Very important step. Despite everything, she smiled. Okay, she said. Step 2. He hesitated, and that's when she saw it. A flicker.
Doubt.
Not about her. Not about the baby. But about getting it right. We figured out, he said finally. Together. She searched his face. You don't have a plan, do you? He huffed out a quiet laugh. Not even a little. Great, she muttered. Hey, he said, nudging her lightly. We've been winging it since day one, and look where we are. Married, slightly traumatized, and now accidentally pregnant. Exactly, he grinned. We're killing it. She rolled her eyes, but the tension in her shoulders eased just a little. An hour later, they were sitting cross-legged on the bed, room service trays pushed aside, untouched food growing cold. Between them sat the tests. Still there. Still real. Shayla stared at them like they might suddenly disappear if she blinked long enough. So, Cole said, dragging the word out. When do we tell everyone? Her head snapped toward him. Tell everyone? Yeah. Cole, we just found out 5 minutes ago. It's been at least an hour. That's not the point. He raised his hands in surrender. Okay. Just asking. She ran a hand through her hair, exhaling sharply. I don't even know how I feel yet, she admitted. How am I supposed to tell people? That's fair, he said softly. She looked at him again. You're really okay with this? She asked. He didn't hesitate this time.
Yeah.
No second thoughts? He shook his head. None. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Not even a tiny panic spiral? He considered that. Okay, maybe a small one, he admitted, but it passed. She let out a quiet laugh. Must be nice. He leaned forward, resting his forearms on his knees. Hey, he said gently. You're allowed to freak out. You don't have to have it all figured out today. I know, she said. She stopped. What? I had this picture in my head, she said slowly, of how things would go. You know, graduate, maybe travel, enjoy being married without responsibility. Cole listened without interrupting. And now it's like that version of my life just vanished, she finished. He nodded. Yeah, he said. It did. That wasn't what she expected him to say. Her brows furrowed. That's it? No, we can still do all that speech. He shook his head. No, he said honestly, because things are different now. Her chest tightened. But different doesn't mean worse, he added quickly. Just different. She looked down at her hands. I don't want to resent this, she whispered. You won't. How do you know? Because you're already worried about it, he said. That's how I know. She swallowed hard. You think I can do this? She asked. He leaned closer, tilting her chin up, so she had to look at him. I think you can do anything, he said simply. Her heart squeezed painfully. You're biased. Very. A small smile broke through. Later that evening, the reality started to settle in more quietly. No dramatic realization. No sudden breakdown. Just acceptance creeping in, inch by inch. Shayla sat curled up on the couch, scrolling absent-mindedly through her phone. Headlines still popped up about them. Their reunion. Their wedding. Their fairy tale. She scoffed softly. If only they knew. Cole walked in from the balcony, shutting the door behind him. You good? He asked. She shrugged. Reading about our perfect love story. He grimaced. Yet about that. She glanced at him. Think they'd still call it perfect if they knew I'm pregnant on our honeymoon? He smirked slightly. They'd probably call it iconic. She rolled her eyes, then hesitated. Do you think people will judge us? She asked. Cole didn't miss a beat. Yes. Her stomach dropped. But who cares? He added immediately. She blinked at him. I mean it, he said, walking over. People have judged us since day one. When we got married the first time. When we broke up. When we got back together. When we got married again. True, she admitted. They don't know us, he continued. They don't get a say. She studied him. How'd he do that? She asked. Do what? Not care. He shrugged slightly. I care about the people who matter. Everyone else, background noise. She leaned back into the couch, thinking. Background noise. She repeated softly. Exactly. A small pause. Then, do you think your mom will freak out? She asked. Cole laughed. Oh, absolutely. Shayla groaned. Great. But she'll get over it, he added. She loves you. And your dad. He'll pretend to be calm and then panic internally. That made her smile. What about my mom? She said more quietly. Cole's expression softened. We'll tell her together, he said. She nodded. Okay. That night, sleep didn't come easily. Shayla lay awake, staring at the ceiling, her mind running in circles. Beside her, Cole shifted, then reached out instinctively, pulling her closer even in his sleep. She melted into him. Her hand drifted down, resting lightly on her stomach. Flat, unchanged, and yet everything was different. Hi, she whispered softly. It felt silly, talking to something that wasn't even really there yet. But still. Guess we're doing this together, huh? A strange warmth spread through her chest. Not fear. Not exactly. Something softer. Something new. Cole stirred slightly, tightening his arm around her. You talking to our kid already? He mumbled sleepily. She froze. Go back to sleep, she whispered. He smiled against her shoulder. You're going to be the cutest mom. Her heart did that thing again. That painful, overwhelming squeeze. Go to sleep, Cole, she murmured, but there was no bite to it. Love you, he mumbled. Love you too. Silence settled again, but this time, it felt different. Not uncertain, not overwhelming, just full. Somewhere between fear and excitement, between panic and hope, a new chapter of their life had begun. And neither of them were running this time. Morning came too fast. Sunlight spilled through the curtains in soft golden streaks, stretching lazily across the bed like nothing in the world had changed. But everything had. Shayla blinked awake slowly, disoriented for a moment, until the memory hit her all at once. The tests. The bathroom. Cole's voice. We're having a baby. Her hand instinctively moved to her stomach again. Still flat. Still normal.
Still somehow not.
Morning, Mama. Her eyes snapped open. Cole was propped up on one elbow beside her, watching her with a lazy, amused smile. Did you just call me Mama? She asked. Too soon, he grinned. Yes. Noted. She rolled onto her side, burying her face in the pillow. I can't believe this is real. He shifted closer, draping an arm over her waist. It's real. That doesn't help. It's not supposed to, he said. It's just true. She peeked up at him. You're way too calm about this. I'm not calm, he said. I'm just excited. Her brows pulled together. You're not even a little bit freaking out? Oh, I am, he said lightly. Internally, I'm screaming. That earned a small laugh. Good, she muttered. Suffer with me. Always. He brushed a strand of hair from her face, his expression softening. How are you feeling? He asked. She hesitated.
Different, she said.
Not physically. Just in my head. Yeah. A pause. Then, we should tell them today, she said suddenly. Cole blinked. That was fast. I know, she said quickly. But if we don't, I'm just going to spiral about it all day. He considered that. Okay, he nodded. Who first? She didn't even need to think. My mom. The video call rang.
Once. Twice.
3 times. Shayla's leg bounced uncontrollably as she sat on the edge of the bed, phone clutched tightly in her hands. Cole sat beside her, one hand resting reassuringly on her back. Relax, he murmured. It's just your mom. That's exactly why I'm not relaxed, she whispered back. The call connected. Shayla, her mother's voice came through, slightly fuzzy but warm. Hi, Mom.
Oh.
You called early. Is everything okay? How's Vegas? How's the wedding? Let me see you. Tilt the camera properly. Mom. Shayla interrupted gently. Something in her tone must have landed, because her mother paused. What is it? She asked more carefully now. Shayla swallowed.
Her throat felt dry.
Cole squeezed her hand. She started, then stopped. Why was this so hard? You're scaring me, her mom said. I'm okay. Shayla rushed out. We're okay. Everything's okay. Then what is it? Shayla glanced at Cole. He gave her a small nod. You've got this. She inhaled deeply. Then, Mom, I'm pregnant. Silence. Complete, total silence. For a moment, Shayla thought the call had dropped. "Mom," she said nervously. The screen shifted slightly. Her mother blinked.
Once. Twice.
"You're what?" she asked. "Pregnant," Shayla repeated, her voice smaller now. Another pause. Then, her mother started crying. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, Shayla." Shayla's heart lurched. "Mom, are you okay? Say something." "I'm going to be a grandmother," she breathed. Relief flooded Shayla so fast it almost made her dizzy. "You're not mad?" she asked. "Mad." Her mom laughed through tears. "Why would I be mad?" "I don't know," Shayla admitted. "It's sudden. We just got married. I still have school." "And you have love," her mother interrupted gently. "You have a partner who adores you. You have a home. You have a future." Shayla's eyes filled. "I just want you to be happy," her mom continued. "And if this makes you happy, then I'm happy." Shayla let out a shaky breath. "It's just scary," she admitted. "I know," her mom said softly. "But you're not alone." Shayla glanced at Cole again.
"No," she said.
"I'm not." Her mom smiled through the screen.
"Put him on," she said.
Shayla handed the phone over. Cole straightened slightly, suddenly looking far more nervous than he had all morning. "Hi," he said. "Take care of my daughter," her mom said immediately. "I will," he replied without hesitation. "And my grandchild." His expression softened. "I will," he said again, quieter this time. A small, approving nod. "Then we're good," she said. After the call ended, Shayla exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for hours. "That went well," she said. Cole smirked. "Told you." "Don't get cocky," she warned. "That was the easy one." He groaned. "Your brother next?" She winced. "Yeah." Sam did not take it quietly. "You're what?" His voice exploded through the phone. Shayla held it away from her ear. "Pregnant." "Stop yelling." "You just got married," he shouted. "I'm aware." "You're on your honeymoon." "Still aware." Cole tried and failed not to laugh. "This isn't funny." Sam snapped. "It kind of is," Cole muttered under his breath. Shayla elbowed him. "Sam," she said, trying to stay calm. "It wasn't planned." "No kidding. But it's happening," she added. "And we're okay with it." There was a pause. A long one. "You're okay?" Sam asked, his voice quieter now. Shayla softened.
"Yeah."
"I am." Another pause. Then, "Okay," he said. She blinked. "Okay." "Yeah," he said. "I mean, I'm still going to panic about it. But if you're okay, then I'm okay." Her chest warmed.
"Thank you," she said.
"And if he screws this up," Sam started. "I won't." Cole cut in. "You better not," Sam shot back. "Noted." Telling everyone else came in waves. Amy screamed. Joe cried. Cole's mom went through all 5 stages of shock in under a minute before landing firmly on excitement. His dad gave a very serious congratulations followed by an immediate discussion about practical planning, which made Shayla laugh more than it should have. By midday, everyone knew. And somehow, the world didn't end. That afternoon, Shayla found herself alone for the first time since the test. Cole had stepped out to grab something. He wouldn't say what, and insisted she rest. So now she sat on the balcony, legs tucked beneath her, the warm Vegas air brushing against her skin. Her phone buzzed. A notification. Another headline. Another article. Another piece of their life being dissected by strangers. She almost ignored it. Almost. But curiosity won. She tapped it open. Nation's sweethearts expecting? Fans speculate after Shayla Hart spotted avoiding alcohol in Vegas. Her stomach dropped. Oh no. Of course. Of course someone had noticed. Of course someone had turned it into a headline. She scrolled. Comments flooded the page. She looked off. Called it. Shotgun wedding vibes. Too fast. Won't last. Hope it's Cole's this time. That one hit harder than the rest. Her chest tightened. Old wounds. Not fully healed. Not completely gone. The past had a way of creeping in at the worst moments. You shouldn't read that. She jumped. Cole stood in the doorway, watching her. She quickly locked her phone. I wasn't. Shay. She sighed. They're already talking, she admitted. He walked over, taking the seat beside her. Let them, he said. It's not that easy. I know, he said. But it's not their life. She looked down. They think this is a mistake, she said quietly. He tilted her chin up gently. Do you, he asked. The question hung between them. Heavy. Honest. Real. She hesitated. Then, no, she said. His eyes softened. Then, that's all that matters.
A beat.
Then he reached into his pocket. I got you something, he said. She frowned slightly. What? He placed a small paper bag in her lap. Confused, she opened it. Inside, a tiny pair of baby socks.
White. Soft.
Ridiculously small. Her breath caught. Cole, I know it's early, he said quickly. And maybe it's stupid, but I saw them and I just... She didn't let him finish. She threw her arms around him, holding on tight. It's not stupid, she whispered. Her eyes burned again. But this time, the tears didn't feel like fear. They felt like something else. Something warmer. Something brighter. Hope. That night, they lay in bed again. Closer than ever. Different than ever. You know, Cole said softly, tracing lazy patterns on her arm, our kid is going to have your attitude. She snorted. God help them. And my charm. She raised an eyebrow. Debatable. He grinned. Silence settled. Comfortable. Steady. Hey, Shay. Yeah. We've got this. She turned her head slightly, looking at him in the dim light.
Yeah, she said.
We do. And for the first time since the world shifted beneath their feet, she truly believed it. The next few days should have been perfect. They were still in Vegas. Still newly married. Still wrapped in that glowing, surreal bubble of just us. But something had shifted. Not in a bad way. Not exactly. Just deeper. More real. And reality, Shayla was quickly learning, didn't come with soft lighting and slow music. It came with questions.
Doubts.
And quiet moments where everything felt just a little too heavy. Are you sure you don't want pancakes? Cole stood by the small kitchen counter in their suite, holding a plate like it was a peace offering. Shayla, curled up on the couch with a blanket wrapped around her, made a face. Absolutely not. You loved pancakes 2 days ago. I know, she groaned. Now they smell like betrayal. He blinked. Betrayal?
Yes.
Deep, emotional betrayal. He stared at her for a beat, then snorted. Pregnancy is wild. She threw a pillow at him. Not funny. Very funny, he corrected, catching the pillow and tossing it aside. Also slightly terrifying. She huffed, shifting under the blanket. I'm serious. Everything smells weird. My body feels weird. My brain feels weird. He walked over, setting the plate down on the table before sitting beside her. Welcome to the club, he said. What club? The we have no idea what we're doing club. She rolled her eyes, but leaned into him anyway. Do you think this is normal? She asked quietly. Which part? All of it. He considered that. Yeah, he said finally. I think so. She didn't look convinced. I mean, he continued, we went from almost losing each other to getting married to finding out we're having a baby in what, a week? When you say it like that, it sounds insane. Because it is insane, he said lightly. A small smile tugged at her lips, but it faded quickly. I keep waiting for something to go wrong, she admitted. That made him still. What do you mean? I don't know, she said, staring at nothing. It just feels like things have been too good. Cole frowned slightly. Shay. Every time we've been happy before, she continued, voice quieter now. Something has happened. Something always happens. He shifted, so he was fully facing her. That was before, he said. She shook her head. It doesn't feel like before. It is, he insisted gently. We're not the same people we were back then. She looked at him. And nothing from the past is coming back to ruin this? She asked. The question lingered. Too long. Just a second too long. And she noticed. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Cole. He exhaled slowly. What? He said. You hesitated. I didn't hesitate. You did. He rubbed the back of his neck. Okay, he admitted. Maybe a little. Her stomach dropped. Why? He didn't answer immediately. And suddenly, the room felt smaller. Cole, she said again, firmer this time. He looked at her. Really looked at her. And whatever he saw must have made the decision for him. Derek called me, he said. Her breath caught. When?
A couple days ago, he said.
Before we found out about the pregnancy. And you didn't think to mention that? She asked, her voice dangerously calm. It wasn't important. It's Derek, she snapped. It's always important. He sighed. He just wanted to check in. She stared at him like he'd just said something ridiculous. Check in?
Yeah.
Why? He said he wanted to make sure we were okay. Her laugh was sharp. Since when does Derek care if we're okay?
Cole didn't respond.
And that was worse. What aren't you telling me? She asked. Nothing, he said quickly. Cole. Shay. No. She cut him off, sitting up straighter now. Don't shame me. Just tell me. He hesitated again. And this time, it was unmistakable. Her heart started pounding. He mentioned Sophie, Cole said finally. The name hit like a slap. Shayla's entire body went still. What about her? Cole's jaw tightened slightly. She's not doing well. A strange, uncomfortable feeling twisted in Shayla's chest. Not sympathy. Not exactly. Just something unresolved. What does that have to do with us? She asked. She's been asking about you, he said. Her eyes snapped to his. Me?
Yeah.
Why? She wants to talk. Shayla let out a short, disbelieving laugh. Absolutely not. Shay. No, she said firmly. No way. After everything she did? After everything she put us through? I know, he said quickly. I'm not saying you have to. Good, she cut in. Because I'm not. Silence fell between them. Tense. Uneasy. She's pregnant too, you know, Cole added quietly. That landed differently. Shayla blinked. What? Cole nodded. With Derek's baby. A strange wave of emotion hit her. Shock. Confusion. And something she didn't expect. Relief. Oh, she said softly.
Yeah.
They sat in silence for a moment. 2 pregnancies. 2 completely different stories. 2 completely different futures. That's good, Shayla said slowly. I guess. Cole nodded. She's struggling though, he added. Shayla's jaw tightened. I'm not her support system, she said. I know. I'm not her friend. I know. She lied. She manipulated everyone. She almost ruined everything. I know, Shay. Her chest rose and fell with a sharp breath. I don't owe her anything. No, he said gently. You don't. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't just tension. It was something heavier. Complicated. What did you tell Derek? She asked. That it's not my place, he said. That if Sophie wants to fix things, she needs to face it herself. Shayla studied him. And if she does? He held her gaze. Then it's your choice. Her stomach twisted.
Choice.
It sounded simple, but it didn't feel simple. Not with everything that had happened. Not with everything that still lingered beneath the surface. I don't want her anywhere near our life, Shayla said finally. Cole nodded. Okay. But something in his eyes told her. This wasn't over. That night felt different. Quieter. Heavier. They lay in bed, not quite as close as before. Not distant, but not completely settled either. Shayla stared at the ceiling, her thoughts tangled. Sophie. Pregnant. Wanting to talk. Why now? Why after everything? Hey, Cole said softly beside her. Yeah. You okay? She hesitated. Then, I don't know. He shifted closer. Talk to me. She turned her head slightly, looking at him in the dim light. I hate that she's still affecting us, she admitted. She's not, he said. She is, Shayla insisted. We're here on our honeymoon, and we're talking about her. He didn't argue, because she wasn't wrong. I just want this to be ours, she said quietly. No drama. No past. Just us. It is ours, he said. Then why does it feel like something's waiting to go wrong again? He reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. Because we've been through a lot, he said. It's normal to expect the worst. I don't want to expect the worst, she whispered. Then don't, he said gently. She let out a small, frustrated breath. It's not that easy. I know. Silence stretched. Then, do you think I should talk to her? She asked. The question surprised even her. Cole didn't answer right away, and she appreciated that. He wasn't rushing her, wasn't pushing. Only if you want to, he said finally. I don't, she said immediately. Then there's your answer. But she didn't feel settled, because something inside her, something she didn't quite understand, wasn't at peace. The next morning, Shayla woke early. Earlier than usual. The room was quiet. Cole still asleep beside her. She slipped out of bed carefully, grabbing her phone. A message notification blinked on the screen. Unknown number. Her stomach tightened. She opened it. Shayla, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but please, I need to talk to you. Just once. Sophie. Her breath caught. There it was. No Derek. No middleman. Just Sophie.
Direct. Real.
Her thumb hovered over the screen. Her mind raced. Everything she had said yesterday. Everything she believed. Everything she felt.
No. She didn't owe her anything.
But why now? What could she possibly have to say? Shayla locked the phone, set it down, walked away, but the message lingered, heavy, unanswered, and impossible to ignore. Behind her, Cole stirred slightly, watching. He hadn't fully woken up, but he had seen enough, and he knew, whatever came next, would change things again. Shayla didn't answer. Not right away. She tried to go about her morning like nothing had happened, like the message sitting in her phone wasn't quietly burning a hole through her thoughts. It didn't work. Not even a little. Coffee. Cole's voice came from behind her as she stood by the window again, arms folded, staring out at the city that suddenly felt too loud for how quiet her mind had gone. Yeah, she said absently. He handed her a cup, watching her carefully. You've been weird since you woke up, he said.
She took a sip.
Too hot. She barely reacted. I'm always weird, she muttered. Not like this.
She didn't respond.
That told him enough. Did she message you? He asked gently. Her grip on the cup tightened. Yeah. He nodded once, like he'd expected it. What did she say? That she wants to talk. And I haven't answered. Cole stepped closer, leaning his hip against the counter beside her. Okay, he said. She glanced at him. That's it, she asked. Just okay? What do you want me to say? I don't know, she admitted.
Something. Anything.
He studied her for a moment. You're thinking about it, he said. It wasn't a question. She exhaled slowly. I shouldn't be. But you are. She nodded faintly.
Yeah.
Silence stretched between them. Not uncomfortable, just honest. I hate this, she said finally. What part? That she still has this defect, Shayla said. That one message can mess with my head like this. Cole crossed his arms, thoughtful. It's not about her, he said. She frowned. Then what is it about? It's about you, he said. And whether you feel like there's something unfinished. That hit closer than she expected. Her jaw tightened slightly. There's nothing unfinished, she said. Then why are you still thinking about it? She didn't have an answer. And that bothered her more than the message itself. Later that afternoon, they met up with everyone for lunch. The table was loud. Laughter, teasing, overlapping conversations. Normal. Comforting. Exactly what Shayla needed. Or at least, what she thought she needed. You look distracted, Amy said, narrowing her eyes from across the table. I'm not, Shayla replied quickly. Amy snorted. You're a terrible liar. She's been off all morning, Cole added casually. Shayla shot him a look. Thanks. What? He shrugged. You have. Joe leaned forward slightly. What's going on? Shayla hesitated. She didn't want to bring Sophie into this space.
Didn't want to taint this moment.
But at the same time, keeping it in felt worse. I got a message, she said slowly. From who? Amy asked. Shayla hesitated just a second too long. Amy's eyes widened. No way. Joe blinked.
What?
Sophie. Amy guessed. Shayla nodded. The table went quiet. Completely quiet. Well, that's unexpected, Joe said carefully. That's one word for it, Shayla muttered. What did she want? Amy asked. To talk. Amy let out a sharp laugh. Of course she does. I haven't answered, Shayla added quickly. Good, Amy said immediately. Keep it that way. Joe didn't look as convinced. What? Amy snapped. Don't tell me you think she should reply. I'm not saying that, Joe said calmly. I'm just saying maybe there's something she needs to say. She had plenty of chances to say it before. Amy shot back. That's true, Joe admitted. But people mess up. Amy scoffed. That wasn't a mess up. That was calculated. Shayla stayed quiet, listening, watching, feeling the tension build around something that wasn't even here. What do you think? Joe asked her gently. Shayla looked down at her hands. I don't know, she said honestly. Amy groaned. Shay, come on. After everything she did. I know, Shayla said quickly. I know, okay? I'm not defending her. Then what? Shayla swallowed. I just don't like loose ends, she admitted. That made Cole glance at her. Because that was new. You think talking to her would fix that? Amy asked. I don't know, Shayla repeated. Maybe. Or maybe it would make it worse. Exactly, Amy said. Why risk it? Because something inside me won't let it go. Shayla didn't say that out loud, but she felt it.
Strongly.
That evening, back at the hotel, the tension followed her. It clung. Persistent. Unrelenting. She sat on the edge of the bed, phone in her hand again. the message still there, unread in her mind, even though she'd read it a dozen times.
Please.
I need to talk to you.
Why?
What could she possibly need? And more importantly, why did Shayla care? You're going to drive yourself crazy, Cole said from across the room. She looked up. He was watching her again. Always watching her. Always seeing more than she said. I already am, she admitted. He walked over, sitting beside her. You don't have to decide right now, he said. I know. But you want to.
She sighed.
Yeah. A pause. Then, will you be mad if I meet her? She asked quietly. Cole didn't react immediately. He just looked at her.
Carefully.
Mad, he repeated. Yeah. Why would I be mad? I don't know, she said. Because it's her. Because of everything. He shook his head. I trust you, he said simply. Her chest tightened. That's not the point. It is the point, he said. If you feel like you need to do this, then do it. And if it blows up in my face, then I'll be there, he said. No hesitation. No doubt. Just certainty. You make it sound so simple, she said. It's not simple, he admitted. But it is your choice. That word again.
Choice.
It felt heavier every time she heard it. An hour later, she was standing outside a small cafe just off the strip.
Her heart pounding.
Her palms slightly damp. Her phone buzzed again. I'm inside. Shayla stared at the message. This was it. She could still walk away. Ignore it. Leave it in the past where it belonged. But instead, she took a breath and walked in. The cafe was quiet.
Dim.
A sharp contrast to the chaos outside. It took her a second to spot her. Sophie sat in the corner, looking different. Smaller, somehow. Not physically, but in presence. The confidence Shayla remembered. The sharp edges, the calculated poise. It wasn't there. Not completely. Sophie looked up. Their eyes met. And for a moment, everything that had happened between them hung in the air. Unspoken.
Heavy. Real.
Shayla walked over slowly. Stopped a few feet away. You wanted to talk, she said. No greeting. No warmth. Just truth. Sophie nodded. Thank you for coming. Shayla didn't sit. Say what you need to say. Sophie swallowed. Her hands trembled slightly as they rested on the table. I'm sorry. The words landed, but they didn't settle. Not yet. Shayla crossed her arms.
For what? She asked.
Sophie blinked. For everything. That's vague, Shayla said flatly. Sophie nodded, like she expected that. I lied, she said. I manipulated people. I tried to trap someone into a life that wasn't real. Shayla's jaw tightened. Why? Sophie looked down. Because I was scared. That's not an excuse. I know, Sophie said quickly. I'm not trying to excuse it, then explain it. Sophie hesitated. Then, I didn't want to lose him, she admitted. The words were quiet.
Raw.
Ugly in their honesty. Shayla felt something twist in her chest. Tristan, she asked. Sophie shook her head. No, she said softly. Shayla stilled. Cole. Sophie looked up and nodded. The air shifted. Everything shifted. That doesn't make sense, Shayla said immediately. I know, Sophie said. It doesn't, but it's the truth. Shayla laughed sharply. You expect me to believe that? No, Sophie said. I don't expect anything from you. Silence fell. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Why are you telling me this? Shayla asked. Because you deserve the truth, Sophie said.
Now.
Shayla snapped. Now I deserve the truth? Yes, Sophie said. Even if it's late. Shayla shook her head. This doesn't change anything. I know. Then what's the point? Sophie's eyes filled slightly. The point is, I'm trying to take responsibility. Shayla studied her. Really looked at her. And, for the first time,
she saw it.
Not manipulation. Not calculation. Just regret. Real regret. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Sophie added quickly. I don't deserve that. No, Shayla agreed. I just didn't want you to think it was all a game to me. Shayla exhaled slowly. It felt like a game, she said. I know. And you hurt a lot of people. I know. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't sharp. It was tired. What happens now? Shayla asked. Sophie let out a small, shaky breath. Nothing, she said. You go back to your life. I go back to mine. And that's it. That's it. Shayla hesitated. Then, I'm pregnant, she said. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Sophie froze. Then blinked. Oh. Shayla watched her reaction carefully. No jealousy. No bitterness. Just surprise. And something softer. Congratulations, Sophie said quietly. Shayla nodded once. Thanks. A pause. Then Sophie placed a hand lightly over her own stomach. I am too, she said. Shayla's gaze dropped briefly, then back up. I know. Another silence. Strange. Unexpected. 2 women. 2 pregnancies. Connected by a past neither of them could erase. I hope you're happy, Sophie said. Shayla hesitated. Then, I am, she said. And this time, it felt true. When Shayla stepped back outside, the air felt different. Lighter. Not perfect. Not completely resolved. But clearer. Her phone buzzed.
Cole.
You okay? She smiled faintly, then typed back.
Yeah.
I think I am. Back in a room later that night, Cole didn't ask a million questions. He didn't push. He just pulled her into his arms. And held her. How is it? He asked softly. She rested her head against his chest. Necessary, she said. That bad? No, she said. Not bad. He tilted his head slightly. Then what? She looked up at him. Just closure. He studied her face, searching, making sure. You're okay? He asked again. She nodded.
Yeah.
And for once, there was no doubt behind it. But as they lay there, wrapped in each other, something lingered. Not from Sophie. Not from the past. But from the future. Because closure didn't mean the story was over. It just meant a new chapter had begun.